Hello everyone, and welcome to another Cartoon Galaxy Rant. I'm Mars Moon, and I like to rant about cartoons. So, this past July 25th, they officially released the Avatar Aang film. And when I say officially, I mean officially because this movie was leaked to high hell not too long ago. So practically a lot of people have already seen it before it came out. And I have to say, I did not see the leak, but I did watch it on Paramount Plus when it officially was released. And with that being said, I want to talk about it. I have a lot to say about this movie now that I have finally seen it. But before I do, just a quick reminder, if you really like my videos, feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy my channel and you enjoy Cartoon Galaxy Rants. As for those of you who have been following and watching, I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel out, so thank you so much. And if, again, you enjoy my content, I also do animations that you can find on my channel, and you could also find on my Patreon, link below in the description. I'm still building on it, but you could go and check it out, support me there. If you do, again, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm done with that. Let's get on with the Avatar film. There are some goods, and there are some gripes I have. And yes, I know you guys are like, how could you have any gripes? This thing was a masterpiece. And don't get me wrong, it was great. If I had to recommend this movie to people, I would. It is a definite watch. But anything is gonna have flaws, and you know me, I am a picky son of a bitch. But I'm gonna start off with all the good stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. So the number one thing that I actually loved about this film was the animation. And Avatar's always been known to have amazing animation. I mean, the shows are phenomenal. The designs, the detail in the characters and the worlds are just beautiful. And again, the animation is great. The martial art moves that the characters use, it just flows so well. And it kind of makes you want to do them. I don't know. It's so cool. And the thing with the movie is that they took that animation and they upped it to 11. They gave it their all, because not only was the animation very well done, but there was a certain level of fluidity, like more fluidity than from the shows, in the way that the mouths moved, in terms of how the characters talked, and how they emoted, and again, like the way they're just how their bodies moved, how their capes flowed in the wind. There was a lot more motion, and you could tell there was so much effort put into this animation purely because this film was actually meant to be on the big screen. It was meant to be in theaters. All that effort put into it. It actually, because of that, it makes me really angry that this thing was leaked because of how much effort was put into it. The other thing is, I guess, the storyline. Although not perfect, and I will get into that in a bit, it still was entertaining, and it wasn't a movie that dragged or anything. It felt like a typical Avatar story. There was a few twists and turns and surprises, although some a little predictable, but still surprises nonetheless. So overall, very enjoyable. The characters were great. They felt like the old characters. Overall, very good. Now, I know this is the part where y'all are going to be like, oh no, here she goes. Some of the gripes. Here I go. First off, I think one of the big ones was actually the voice actors, and not all the voice actors. There was actually good voice actors. There was maybe only, I would say, 2 voice actors I wasn't too keen on. So if you weren't aware, they changed the majority of the voice actors for this film. And the claim is that they changed the voice actors because of the fact that the characters are now adults. They're older. They're not kids. So they're like, oh, we got to change all the voice actors. One of the big ones I think people were very upset about was Zuko. So yeah, they changed his voice actor too. I looked at all the voice actors listed on IMDb from the old series and from the new movie. And I'll tell you right now, they did not replace the voice actors because the characters are older. Because let's be totally honest. First off, some of the voice actors were already kind of adults, I believe, when the old series was out, so they could have reused them. And any of the characters, like Aang's voice actor, who was a kid at the time, would be adults now, so they could have still had them do the voice. If you look at the new voice actors, you will see that the majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of them are Asian. Okay, and I don't like to pull race into this, but I know why they picked Asian voice actors, because for the most part, all the characters are basically Asian or supposed to represent Asian culture. So I believe that is why they selected Asian voice actors and actresses. Now, that doesn't mean that they're bad voice actors. If I had to say, the Avatar's voice actor, Aang's voice actor, was good. Katara's voice actress was good. Actually, Sokka's voice actor impressed me because he sounded a lot like the original voice actor. I actually thought it was the original voice actor at first, so that actually took me off guard. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. The only two voice actors that I did not care for was the voice actress for Toph and the voice actor for Zuko. Toph was in between. I felt like she was trying too hard to sound like Toph. I don't know. Also, apparently, I found out that the voice actress is blind, like the character. Interesting, but I don't know how the hell that affects the way you do a voice for a character. So if that was the reason why they selected her, that is stupid. But Zuko was, I think, the worst, because you could have found a voice actor that at least was close to how the original Zuko sounded. He sounded absolutely nothing. I mean, nothing like Zuko, not even close. The other things that disappointed me are some little things within the storyline. First off, before I even get into this, I'm just gonna say right here, this is where I'm probably gonna get into spoiler territory. So if you did not see this film, come back later because I do not want to spoil anything for you. So to get into the storyline, it focuses a lot on Aang. And I mean, obviously, because the movie's called Aang. And it focuses on his lament for the loss of his people, for the loss of the Airbenders. And it reflects back onto that. And eventually it leads into his desire to bring Airbenders back into the world. And to do so, Aang has to acquire this staff, this spiritual staff that belonged to a previous avatar, and use that to create new airbenders. And so that becomes his goal. And in the process of doing so, he actually meets another airbender that, like him, was actually frozen away. And first he thinks he's actually a good guy, and lo and behold, he's actually bad, and he wants the staff for more villainous reasons. He actually wants to create new airbenders to destroy the other bending kingdoms, because they always pick on the airbenders, and he's mad about it. But either way, the point is it's leading to Aang wanting to bring back airbenders, because he misses airbenders. He does not like being the last airbender. So now there is that discussion or talk about the spirit world. There's in fact moments where they enter the spirit world in this film, which, you know, got me and even my husband to thinking, like, you know, this film would have been better if it actually came out before The Legend of Korra, because a lot of the spirit world stuff we already knew about. We got a lot of that in The Legend of Korra, so it's really no surprise when we see all this stuff. If the film had come out prior to Korra, it would have almost been like, wow, what is this? And then you would have had Korra, and it would have built up more onto the spiritual stuff. The other big thought in terms of the story is, first off, how it builds up and concludes, and then also in between how certain situations get resolved. So I'll give an example. There was a part where actually Aang and his friends, they're fighting Taga. So Taga is that, villainous airbender that they stumble into. And so they're having a fight, and Taga, who's super strong for some reason, beats them and apparently kills them all, including Aang, the Avatar. He kills the Avatar. You kind of wonder, like, okay, how are they going to get out of this? They're dead or dying. How are they going to get out of this? And the solution was that Katara just so happened to land into a magical pool of water that enhanced her healing abilities and gave her the ability to bring everybody back from the dead or heal their dying wounds. Pretty convenient, or just a little bit of poor writing. Big one again is how the story progresses from the beginning to the end, because the resolve at the end also felt rushed to me, or it just could have been better. And this also has to tie into character development as well. Because one of the big things with the original Avatar, the show, is, it builds up. Aang has to defeat the Fire Lord, right? So he's learning and he's going on a quest and he's doing all these things, and eventually it's going to lead to him fighting the Fire Lord. And that's why also the Avatar show is just so epic, because it just builds up to that point. It does such a great job at doing so. But the bigger reason on top of that is also the character development, because every single character on the Avatar team, Sokka, Katara, Zuko, Aang, Toph, they all grow. They all grow and learn from the start to the end. And I think that's what makes this show so phenomenal. In the movie, the only character that's really growing, which is totally fine because he's the central character really in this, is Aang. Okay, so not to say we don't see the other characters, but they're kind of like more like sidekicks. They're there to help him as a team, but he's really the central guy. And the growth that he's supposed to accomplish at the end is that he has to learn to let go. He has to learn to let go of the airbenders. That's the resolve. Now, you would figure for him to grow, there would have to be certain pivotal things that happen in the movie, and especially at the end point of the movie, to have him come to that realization. The thing that helps him come to that realization is that when he gets the spiritual staff, he's kind of corrupted as he has his staff. And in the process of being corrupted with it, the thing that gets him out of being corrupted is he just suddenly thinks about the old airbenders, and his old friend tells him in a vision, I guess, or he's just dreaming it, that he needs to let go. And that's it. And then he lets go and he breaks the staff. It's like it comes out of nowhere. He just randomly thinks this and then is suddenly like, oh, okay, I guess I should just let go. It would have made more sense if he saw his friends, and his friends are like, no, Aang, don't let the staff corrupt you. We're your family, you need to let go. Like something like that would have made more sense, because, and in fact, I thought that was how it was going to go, because they were with him the whole time. They actually were trying to tell him, hey, we're a team here. So I thought they were going to actually reflect back on that, but no, he just thinks randomly about the airbenders, and that helps him come to this resolve that, oh yeah, I gotta let go. It felt so thrown in. And I think the reason why that is too, is because for you to build up to this conclusion where he comes to that realization, there would have to be more within the film itself, more bits and pieces in the film that build up to him coming to that resolve. The only way to do that, like the show, the old show, is to have moments where the characters actually talk more, have emotional scenes together. But the problem with the film is that there wasn't too many of those scenes. In fact, the movie had a lot of fighting scenes. There was a lot of action. And don't get me wrong, I love action. It's fun, it's exciting. Yay! But there needs to be balance. It's starting to sound like an Avatar now. And if I had to also point out again how they sway away from the characters conversing enough for emotional scenes, which would have been great here, I'll also use another example, which is Sokka. Sokka, who is pretty much the comic relief in a lot of ways. He's very funny, right? He does a lot of funny stuff that makes us laugh. But in the Avatar show, he had emotional scenes. He had moments where he came to certain realizations and he got very serious. You got none of that with him in this movie. None. Zip. He was just the comic relief. Every time you saw Sokka, he had to be funny. Everything had to be funny with him. And that was already a sign that they were lacking these scenes. They were lacking these things. And they seem to have also lost grasp of the fact that Sokka can also be a human being, not just a clown. So these are the things that I felt was lacking in this movie. These are the pieces that were missing. It doesn't mean that the movie was awful. Like I said, it was still entertaining. It was still good. And I would still highly recommend you check it out if you have not. Would I watch it again? Probably not. That's my take on the Avatar film. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to end it here. Thanks again so much for watching. As always, take care and peace out.